Hey, it's Julie. I'm back by series of resolving the occupancy puzzle. Hope you enjoy the series. This chapter is on sales quality. So this is going to be probably a 2 or a 3-parter. Hope you enjoy. Take notes, dig down, practice, like, share, subscribe. Resolving the occupancy puzzle. Here we go. This episode of the Grow Your Occupancy Podcast is sponsored by Yardi. The Yardi Senior Living Suite combines resident care, marketing, sales, finance, business intelligence, pharmacy, and operations, all on a Cloud Forbes 100 ranked, cloud hosted HIPAA and SOX compliant software platform. The suite of products is single stack, uniting on a fully integrated platform. It offers intuitive functionality that helps provide the best care and improved health outcomes across your communities. Hello, it's Julie. Welcome to the Grow Your Occupancy Podcast, resolving the occupancy puzzle. All right, we're diving into chapter 7. This is a robust chapter, and it's going to require more than one podcast. It'll require 2, 3, maybe even 4. Why? Because this one is on sales quality, which is sales skills. Selling is a skill. I think, we all have natural talents, or, maybe abilities that, tendencies, but we need to practice. Maybe some people are we're all born with gifts, sure. But absolutely need to practice. I don't know if are there naturally born salespeople? I don't know, maybe, but I do believe that with the determination that most can learn to sell senior living, you don't have to be an extrovert. As a matter of fact, and that introversion, a bit of introversion helps a lot with connection, listening, and focus. So here we go. All right, sales quality. Okay, sales quality affects everything. And chapter 7 talks about low conversion rates and low outcomes, right? You can do and do and do and do. I'm not a volume velocity. You absolutely have to do the work. That's a first area to fix. If your phone calls are low, the activity is low, tours are low, texts, video messages, activity. If activity is low, outreach is low, you're just not doing the work, not spending enough time in sales. You got to spend time in sales. That's number 1. So that's number 1. Make sure the activity is there. Now, the activity is there. What's the quality of the activity? So that's skill. So lack of skill, and this takes time. It takes time to develop a skill, just like in anything. It requires determination, requires practice. Any skill any of us have developed over time, proficiency, and not only time to develop, but then maintain and maintain and grow and stay cutting edge. Okay, so low skills, all right, affect, like I said, everything. Improving your skill, improving conversion ratios. All right, so looking at the conversion ratio, if you don't know what your conversion ratios are, stop now and look them up and be aware of. Most common are new lead, some people call them inquiries, new lead to, I like to measure connection. So of all the new leads coming in, how many are we actually connecting with? Some people go right from new lead to tour. I do want to know, okay, yeah, that is a good conversion, but to me, that's missing a step. because I need to know, since most leads are coming in through digital sources, what percentage of those new leads we're actually connecting with, and then what's happening at that stage. So I like to, if you can, some CRMs do it automatically, some don't, but a lead to connection or lead to prospect should be connecting with it 80 to 90%, regardless of the outcome. So that's the first conversion metric. And then of those people, of the people you connect with that haven't dropped off, meaning they're absolutely not qualified financially or medically, or they accidentally called for multifamily or college housing, or maybe they accidentally called a different state, or they can never, they, I'm sorry, they hung up. Okay. You close them out right away. But of those people that you're actually talking to, do your discovery. What percentage come to tour? Should be right in around 50%. So determine, is that in I say 35 to 60% range. And again, it's going to depend on the quality of the leads, the quality of your connections, your prospects, at what rate are they dropping off, right? But those that don't drop off right away due to qualification should convert to come in for tour. That does not mean necessarily right away, first day. Okay. I mean, there's new lead to tour that same month. That's very common. Overall, all of your pre-tour prospects, what percentage are coming in for tour? And then of course, the conversion, tour to sale or tour to deposit. Keep in mind, overall opportunity to sale or deposit. There's also or move in. Some people break those two conversions out. Some don't. Some companies don't. Tour to sale, tour to move in. It's opportunity, all opportunities in a given month. It's not just new tours or first tours or tours that were leads this month. It's opportunities in front of you. When you're measuring a skill set, think about, of all the opportunities I had to close a sale, to a move-in in front of me this month, whether they inquired this month, last month, 6 months ago, whether this is their first tour, their third tour, their sixth tour, that's one opportunity. If one family tours 3 times in a month, on the activity, it can count 3 tours, but opportunities, it counts once. So in your conversion, it counts 1. It's opportunity to move in. Make sure you really wrap your head around this, because you're measuring your ability. So how many opportunities to get a sale? If one person's coming in front of you 3 times, you can only sell them once. Some people measure deposit to move in, or a community fee to move in, or entry fee to move in, to make sure that they're narrowing the gap. I had a client once that had a 50% cancellation rate on their deposits because they were way too aggressive on the front end and get deposit, don't let them move into, don't let them leave the community until they got a deposit. And they were just they weren't listening, they weren't connecting, they were just pushy. They were pushy salespeople. And therefore they had a 50% cancellation rate on their deposits. Well, right away, that was something that we started measuring, was their deposit to move it, and making sure that those deposits were secure and real, right? And occasionally a deposit will cancel. There's some unfortunate circumstances in which a deposit or a community fee, doesn't move forward, circumstances beyond our control, right? So that may be a conversion you want to, that you're measuring, okay, that a company measures. The ranges in the book are suggested ranges. Make sure an operator needs to have set metrics in their playbook. Know the sales funnel. It's really important. And the next podcast, I'm going to talk more about coaching. Coaching, you're going to spend the priority for coaching is building skill set. It's to build skill set, to prompt thinking. Coaching, it's not all role play, but coaching is there. The coaching is the time for role play. Coaching is a time to prompt thinking. Coaching's not just time just I'm going to tell you what to do, or you should have done this, or we're just going to go through 25 metrics in 30 minutes. It's time for conversation, to prompt thinking, to do strategy, and to do role play. I will talk about coaching more in the next podcast. All right, let's break down those ratios a little bit further. Lead to connect, lead to connect, lead to connect. If you don't track this, you can skip over or think about tracking it. It's important. Some people talk, another way that people talk about is that speed to lead. Okay, speed to lead is important. So is a cadence to connect, because you may not connect with your new lead on your first attempt. It's really important to track speed to lead and also the cadence to connect, which is the number of attempts and the spacing of those attempts. I call it a cadence to connect. A rule of thumb here is you're going to be heavier on the front end. When people reach out, that's when they're needing help. That's when they're inquiring. They're a priority. If you wait, the message is you're not a priority. My mother left a message last week to schedule a tour. She wants me to go with her. I'm going to be traveling to Florida to do some tours with her. She left a voicemail, very specific, specifying the day and time that she and her husband and daughter are wanting to come for tour. No phone call back. The next day, nothing. She calls the next day, leaves another voicemail, no phone call. She wants to tour this community. It took 3 phone calls, finally gets a phone call back. Oh, no, it was just, okay, when do you want to come in? What's your name? Didn't ask husband's name, didn't ask daughter's name. Ugh, okay. It's like, if she wasn't determined and called back twice, oh my gosh, don't get me started. Okay, so heavy on the front end, your priority. You are a priority. Your urgency, you are a priority to us. We suggest a daily attempt that initial week of some type. You have to call every day, but follow up your call with a text, maybe send a video message, maybe the next day, maybe an email, maybe then follow up with another call. Whatever your cadence is, have a cadence. Heavier on the front end. If your company doesn't have a set cadence, set it now and have it set, communicate that, put it in the CRM. We recommend just putting D1, day 1, D2, day 2, D3, day 3, day 4, D4, and mark it in the CRM so it's really clear what was done and what day it was done. So D1 could be today. D2 could be 2 days from now, D2, right? It's a second day of that cadence. So speed to lead, cadence to connect. Your next ratio is that connection or prospect to tour. Okay, what affects prospect to tour ratio? Well, quite a few things. Number 1 would be lead quality, right? If you got a lot of leads coming in, you're connecting with them and they're not qualified. They're financially not qualified. They're on, Medicaid, for instance. And if you look at the lead source, and there are a lot of our paid leads or paid campaigns, that's something that likely would need to be looked at, need to be tweaked. That's not a sales counselor's problem to solve, right? That's a marketing issue. Okay, sales can't do anything about leads coming in that aren't financially qualified, but we do need to track it. So it could be a lead quality issue. Okay, the second thing and really important that we can work on, is the quality of the conversation. Okay, strong, purposeful discovery. We will continue pushing this message forward and reinforcing how important discovery and strong opening. In sales, always be closing, always be opening, discover, discover, make a connection. And in this initial call, this initial connection, it doesn't have to be a long, long phone call, but what it does need to be is I see and hear you. You matter. Again, I think back to last week. My mom had to call 3 times, and does she matter? I mean, this woman doesn't even. She knows absolutely nothing about her except we're going in Saturday at 2 o'clock. Absolutely nothing. She did ask, did you want independent, assisted living, or memory care? That's the only question she asked. And what, 2 o'clock? Okay. And my mother said, would you please call to remind me? She didn't even say she would call. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is your opportunity to stand out, okay, to be the person that cares enough to learn a little bit about why did that person, that man or woman, the prospect or the influencer, who are they, first of all, and what relation are they? Are they the actual prospect themselves, or what relation are they? And what prompted them to start their search? What prompted them to jump on the website or call? Often you're calling out because they reached out or they got to you digitally. So the initial conversation, right, is a call out. But this is the same conversation. It's just initiated by you. Do you have a quick minute? I understand you'd reached out for some information about our community, or use a community name. Pause. Oh yeah, I did. Have a quick minute. Tell me a little bit about, and just listen. Focus back on them. Ask them a little bit about what's happening. How long has this been going on? What changes have you seen in the past? When did this first start happening? Or how does this affecting you? How does this affect the family? Just listen. And you can really, as you're practicing, you ask one question and the conversation kind of organically goes from there because you're listening. Okay, they said something, you're going to ask a little bit more about that. And if you get stuck, you say, tell me a little more about that. And then bring it to another question. And you can really just ask, is this a series of maybe 2, 3, 4 questions, not a long, long interview. It's not necessarily okay, here, I'm going to ask you these 10 questions, and no matter what you answered, I have to go to the next question because it says so right here, on my script. It's a conversation, and it does take practice. It's active, empathetic listening. I hear you. Sounds like you're really stressed out. Or, oh, okay, so you have a surgery coming up. And so I understand you're maybe thinking about what might happen or how that might change your day to day. And you're wanting to maybe give yourself some peace of mind should your situation change post surgery. Yes, I'm listening, I hear, I'm reflecting, and then you move on to the conversation. And then, of course, you close, you're advising. And in the discovery, the advice is most oftentimes is a visit, is a tour. It could be a home visit, but most oftentimes is a tour to come and look at the community, meet face to face, meet your mother, come for lunch, take a look around, meet some residents. Or could be, let's meet face to face. Could be at the community, or maybe more comfortable meeting at your home. To recap, you can't understate the importance of discovery and the importance of practice and reinforcing, and the importance of the impact that this skill set has on this conversion. Just I want to say, well, just the closing, the recap, advice to the next steps, and confirmation, just practicing that portion of the discovery can be a coaching call or 2 or 3 or 4 when you're breaking out your coaching in a narrow focus. And lastly, today, open-ended versus closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions, and this is great when you're coaching and really in conversation, right? When you want to focus a conversation on not you, the other person. You want to get the other person talking. Open-ended typically start with what? What, how, sometimes why, but usually what, or even a statement of fact. Tell me more about that. Or even a reflection. It sounds to me like you're really stressed. Or you called today to learn a little bit more about our community. Statement of fact and pause usually gets people talking. And if it doesn't, have your open-ended question start ready. Instead of, does your mom get help at home? Does she use a walker? Do you enjoy arts and crafts? Are you still driving? Can your dad dress himself? Do, can, are, closed-ended. Think in terms of what. Same with coaching. When you're doing coaching or when you're doing leadership, you're mentoring, in business, peer-to-peer. You want the other person to talk. Think in terms of open-ended versus closed-ended questions, statements of fact. Much, much, much better conversations. Good discovery skills. Okay, I'll wrap this one up. Good discovery skills include, this is on page 115, asking open-ended questions as opposed to the closed-ended ones, allowing others to finish talking. Oh gosh, that's good conversation period, without interrupting. I'm going to add leaning in with curiosity. When you're on the phone, you're like leaning in, being curious. You really care. You want to help people. Here's your chance to learn, and you're curious. And if that's your intention of being really curious about what's happening, you're wanting to find out about this person and their situation. Learn their name. Call them by name, by the way. Nothing personalizes something more than learning someone's name and their loved one's name. If it's not, if we're talking about anybody in addition to person calling, use names. Ask additional questions, or let's learn more about that instead of just rushing to the solution right away. Remember that needs matching I've talked about before? No. You don't drive, we have transportation. You don't cook, we have meals. You don't manage your meds, well, we do med management. Your mom's not able to dress it. Oh, we can help your mom do that. Your mom's lonely. We have lots of residents and friends. Needs match, match, needs match. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody would be moving in, right? Well, then how come it doesn't work? Because it's based on this high level logic. It's the top. It's like that tip of the iceberg, right? And people base decisions on emotion. If you're not getting underneath, right, to the gut, you're not going to get to the true source of the decision making. Yes, the tip, the logistics, certainly. The same with coaching. Like, okay, you see somebody's they're continuously behind past due tasks because they're not getting out to do outreach. So, well, you got to do your outreach. Well, yeah, I'll try better. Or, well, nobody wants to, everybody refers to the local referral agent. Well, you got to do it. Tip of the iceberg. Got to ask better questions and help talk through, because there's a reason why here. There's a reason why all the tasks continuously get behind. and we got to talk through it because it's not acceptable, right? So we got to get to the gut, right? And talk through, help me understand, right? Open-ended. You have a much better coaching conversation to gain more buy-in, to better understand why these calls aren't being done. Same concept, same process, discovery skills for talking with prospects and also coaching. Recapping the conversation. So putting a bow on the conversation. And then certainly with discovery, face-to-face, invite them in for a tour. The next step is, or what about, or let's go ahead and, what is your advice? Want to get them in, or a home visit, a face-to-face. If you are letting it dangle, or well, okay, I'll just mail something to you, or why don't you go ahead and talk about it, and then I'll try and call you back and call you back and call you back and call you back. You put yourself in a position now of starting all over, and the chance that you're going to reach them is less than 50%. So they don't have to do what you're advising, but advise at each and every time when it makes sense. Thank you for hanging in there for part 1 of the selling skills, okay, chapter 7 of Resolving the Occupancy Puzzle, building your conversions. I'm Julie Podewitz. Until next time. This episode of the Grow Your Occupancy Podcast is sponsored by Yardi.